Sirius XM will launch a new Beatles channel on May the 18th at 9:09 a.m. ET that will include not only the band's music but historic flashbacks, stories from the group and those associated with them, and round-table discussions, the company announced today. "We've worked with the Beatles and Apple Corps Limited to create a channel that is as vital today as when the band's music was first recorded," said Scott Griesty, President and Chief Content Officer of Sirius XM. The channel will be all things Beatles, 24/7. The soundtrack of our world, made by John, Paul, George and Ringo. Added Paul McCartney in the official announcement. "I still remember the thrill of when we first heard our music on the radio, but I don't think any of us would have imagined that we'd have our very own Beatles radio channel more than 50 years later." The Sirius XM channel will have it all, 8 days a week. Great news! The Beatles will have their own channel on Sirius XM. Now you can listen to the Beatles, anytime at all. "Peace and love," added Ringo Starr. The programming will have shows exploring every phase of the Beatles. These will include Breakfast with the Beatles, a daily morning show hosted by DJ Chris Carter with music and stories about the band. Carter currently hosts a long-running weekly show on the Beatles also called Breakfast with the Beatles Sundays on Closefield Marshall in Los Angeles. Speaking to Variety, Carter says, "I want to thank both Sirius XM and the entire The Beatles organization for including my show to their MF lineup. We all know breakfast is the most important meal and the Beatles are the most important band, so it's a perfect fit." Also on the channel, Beatle Bites, a daily name that tune game using a Beatles song, the Fab Forum, a call-in show hosted by veteran DJ Dennis Elsers, who is known among Beatles fans for his radio interview with John Lennon, Northern Songs with Bill Flager, author and TV producer, whose show looks at the Beatles' music and its effect on its fans, a day in the life with daily Beatles career and personal milestones. Get Back, the Beatles in Britain, George Lloyd is the host of a once-a-month show from London that offers a UK perspective of the group's career, and My Fab Four, with guest disc jockeys made up of musicians, celebrities and fans playing their favorite Beatles songs. The Beatles channel shows will also include Peter Asher, From Me to You, a radio version of Asher's live memoirs shows where he talks about the Beatles and tells stories about his memories of them. "I try to give each episode a story thread," Asher, who was half of the British invasion duo Peter and Gordon that recorded several songs written for them by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, including their breakout hit World Without Love, told Variety. "I'm starting each one with a Peter and Gordon song and then, by virtue of something about the song, who played on it, who wrote it, that takes me into another song and another song." His show will premiere at 8 p.m. ET May the 25th. A special fan phone line, 844-999-BEATLES, has been set up for requests and Beatles stories from fans. The launch of the channel comes about a week before the debut of Beatles CD sets on May the 26th, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the release of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The several configurations include a 2017 remix of the original album and a 6-disc set with outtakes and video content. On June the 1st, channel will celebrate the 50th anniversary of album's release by playing the album's new 2017 stereo mix in its entirety with commentary by the album's original producer, the late George Martin, and by his son, Charles Martin, who produced the album's new stereo and 5.1 surround mixes from the Beatles session tapes with guidance from his father's original mono album mix preferred by the Beatles.